He pōnei. US high school principal says he wants parents and police to work together to tackle bullying after an anonymous TikTok account targeting students was reported. UFO Hospital launches a flu vaccine campaign urging residents to get vaccinated against Influenza A. And we catch up with Niue's newest author, Hikutavaki, who released her first children's storybook exploring Niuean culture. Monu, monu, monu tangaloa, whakalofalahi atu, and welcome to BCN News. Niue High School is cracking down on online bullying after a TikTok account targeting Year 9 students was reported to the school. Described as a confessions page, the account shared defamatory posts targeting Year 9 students, using insults and slurs to describe them and some of their family members. Principal Charles Ioane said despite the school's effort to curb online bullying, the problem was rife. Now he wants parents and police involved. Here's the story.
There should be an investigation as to where this is coming from, just so that we know where it's coming from and we can put an end to it. I know for a fact that at school we banned phones, and the reason for banning phones was because of cyberbullying. Those were one of the things that we decided might help with the situation. Our network doesn't allow social media, so when students are in school, I like to think that they don't get to social media, but there are ways that students can navigate nowadays and get into social media, I guess. But officially, as a school, we've got processes in place to try and stop such incidents from happening. From the parents' side, I guess the parents can do better by monitoring what their kids are getting up to online. I don't know how the kids are getting online as well. I guess the parents are paying for that data and things like that. But just better management of what the students are getting up to. Because the effects of cyberbullying is real, and we don't want a situation where one day we'll regret things happening and we turn a blind eye on it. The message is and always will be to that we have zero tolerance for cyberbullying or for bullying of any form here at Niue High School. And that's a message we've been, informing our students from day one. Just asking the students to, be kind, be mindful of their actions, and just put yourself in their shoes. If you are being bullied, or if you have been bullied, then you know what that feeling is like.
Bringing his wealth of experience from top kitchens worldwide, award-winning Australian chef Andrew Filkey has been in Niue this month to explore Niue's cultural delicacies and to inspire the island's next generation of chefs. Here's the story. He's worked in the top kitchens of the world and with the First Nations people of Australia.
When you think about where a cuisine comes from in any culture of the world, it comes from the heart and the home, what the people on the land eat.
The award-winning chef now sharing his culinary expertise with Niue.
There's so much wild food, and that's why I'm very passionate about connecting with the local, the elders, or what we call the Aboriginal elders in Australia, with the senior people who know the old customs, the old ways. I really can't wait to go out fishing with them, walking in the forest with them, collecting the coconut crabs.
Hosted by the scenic Matavai Resort and the Australian High Commission as part of their efforts to inspire the next generation of Niue's hospitality leaders.
That's my whole goal for this job, is to uplift Niue, upgrade the Pacific, and promote we don't need to bring people in from abroad. We can do things ourselves.
It's really to build those people-to-people link, and it's through those channels, through the community and through both the private sector, private sector, faith-based leaders in the community, that we can actually really work together.
His visit coinciding with the resort's launch of its first ever scholarship programs for locals to gain qualifications in culinary arts and hotel management at the Matavai.
Being able to get people into the resort and that we can run the kitchens in the front of house with locals, it's exciting.
Then you can add your noodles.
To kickstart the initiative, Niue High School students getting a very special lesson from the master chefs.
This is our spicy pepper.
And a little taste of Australia.
Some ironing spoon.
It's a sweet one.
I'm incredibly grateful for this chance to get this chef and all of his, sharing his experiences, especially with Chef T and Chef Andrew.
Very nice.
This week, locals were also treated to his culinary skills as the Matavai hosted a special chef's table dinner. The menu featuring a twist on Niue's unique flavours.
Sausage, taro leaves, currants, and roasted sandalwood nuts. Yum!
Combined with Australian ingredients,
A multitude of crossovers with regards to flavours and food.
including kangaroo.
No, this is the first time, and I love what they've done at this.
Tonight's event has cost $149 per person, with half of all proceeds going towards the apprenticeship scholarships being offered through the Matavai.
I love the idea of having kids come through the ranks with us and achieve real outcomes and qualifications.
Hospitality leaders here hoping more dishes like this could be served by young talent like this in the future. Moana Makapelu, BCN News. Niue Hospital has launched its campaign for Influenza A vaccinations after an outbreak was declared last month. As of Sunday, a total of 39 confirmed cases have been reported with 13 hospital admissions. According to the hospital's latest situation report, 6 new confirmed cases had been reported from April 10th and no new hospital admissions. Teenagers aged 11 to 18 years remain the highest affected. Niue's Public Health Division said its advice to wear a mask in public and reduce social gatherings remained in effect. Vaccinations are available at Niue Hospital for people aged 3 and above. A new children's book celebrating Niuean culture called Hunt for Niutupu was launched in New Zealand this month. Author Inangaro Vakawhi, a senior Niuean broadcaster and Wangahau Niue advocate, says the story was inspired by the unique childhood of young children growing up in the islands.
It's an adventure book, but it's also an educational kind of resource, especially for children who've never grown up in the islands. This is a way that they can learn a little bit about island life.
The book follows the adventures of Anna, a young girl living in Niue who goes on a mission with her grandfather to explore coconut varieties in their backyard. Vakawhi said she hoped the book would instill pride in young Niueans worldwide.
I hope that for those who've never been home, that through the story they can get a glimpse.
Published by Mila's Books, it's now available online after its launch in Porirua. After a 6-year break due to COVID-19, the Charles Jessup Memorial Sculpture Prize competition is back, with $2,500 in prize money up for grabs for talented artists. Coinciding with the Niue Art Festival that kicks off next week, the competition encourages locals to unleash their creativity by transforming junk and unwanted waste into stunning 3-dimensional sculptures. Founder and organiser Mark Cross says it was a chance for locals to get creative.
We're not looking for any specific theme or anything. We just want people to, what we call found objects, like people normally call junk. We let the materials they find govern what their artwork is going to look like.
Cross said they were also on the lookout for a judge. The prize presentation ceremony will take place at Hikutavaki Sculpture Park on April 24th, which will also mark the closing of the Arts Festival. This week, Niue's Department of Environment hosted a joint workshop on multilateral environmental agreements and environmental social management systems facilitated by a 4-member SPREP team. Here's Mere Satakala with more on the story.
Environment Director Haden Talangi said after a lapse of 10 years, the training has been brought back and hopes it will upskill his staff in learning the various processes of accessing funds for certain projects in his department. Sessions include enhancing NUE's capacity in reporting, managing data, applying an analysis tool, and the NUE environmental and social management system.
So we have a multilateral environment agreements, or MEAs for short, capacity building workshop with the SPREP officials who are on the island this week. So the whole week will be covered by different training sessions, capacity building, as well as skills training, negotiations training for the government officials, as well as NGOs that we have invited for the workshop.
SPREP's Environmental Law and Policy Officer, Kathleen Taituave Aferetti, shared more on the training.
This is a joint mission, so there's three components of the workshop. So the first 2 days we're looking at MEAs, an introduction to multilateral environmental agreements, looking at some of the roles and responsibilities of global and regional institutions, how NUE can domesticate their obligations under MEAs.
The workshop aims to enhance national capacities in MEI reporting, data management, and environmental impact assessments. Talangi also highlighted one of the challenges when it comes to accessing funds for certain projects. Participants include representatives from government departments, NGOs, and the private sectors.
One of the key challenges that we face at the department is the amount of time it takes to negotiate funding and also access to the funding, and for the funds to arrive on NUE. So you're looking at around about 18 to 2 years to access those funds. And so all the projects that we have negotiated previously, they're beginning to show fruition now by the funds arriving on NUE. So it's the time that's taken and the challenges of not attending meetings that we're supposed to attend just because of our capacity constraints.
The workshop is part of SPREP's ongoing commitment to strengthening environmental governance in Pacific Island countries. Mersa Takala, BCN News.
From food to weaving, the best of Hikutavaki culture was on display at the weekend as the village kicked off the Village Show Day circuit in style, drawing in crowds from locals to visitors from as far as Germany. It included special entertainment from visiting hip-hop artists the Church Boys. Prime Minister Dalton Tangilangi was also there and addressed the crowds.
My job is to create opportunities for all of our people here. So you're starting to see there's big developments in place for the next 5 years to the amount of about $40 to $50 million. There's the opportunity. Go and get it. Don't come to government and beg government for money. But this is what we do. It not only applies to this village, but also all the other villages. I welcome all the visitors here. I hope you have a good time. What I always say, what you see here is what you get. But please keep some of our secrets. As you know, we're all about conservation and sustainability here, and we want to maintain some of those secrets of ours for our children in the future. But for that, I thank you very much for today.
The next Village Show Day will be held in the village of Makefu next month. And in sports, there were more big hits, tackles and wins as round 2 of the Tuamotu Village Nines kicked off at Tuasea Field in Hakupu. Despite a few minor injuries, NUE Rugby League acting president Tolana Siatanga praised the improvement of all 5 villages from round 1, with Avasele standing out as the team to beat, winning all their games. The final round will be held in 3 weeks. For all the results and updates, you can check out the NUE Rugby League Tuamotu Facebook page. And to tonight's feature story, you might have seen them at the weekend putting on a rousing performance at the Hikutavaki Show Day. Mere Satakala caught up with New Zealand gospel hip-hop artists the Church Boys, who are in Niue this week exploring their home roots. Here's the story.
Niuean artists Carl Tusini Rex and Vinnie Newtama grew up in Otaro, South Auckland, and later formed their group in 2008, sharing stages with the likes of Savage and Adiz, performing in various music events in New Zealand and Australia. Their genres include a mix of gospel hip-hop fused with upbeat tempo and Pacific beats.
I think we were established in 2008. one of those years where we became the finalists down in Wellington. And we came up with the name Church Boys. I was Church Boya, Carl Big Boy Church, and together we are the Church Boys. And our genre is gospel hip hop fused with upbeat tempo and Pacific kind of flavor with with a splash of humor in there as well. So and the music that people might know us from is one of our anthems, which is "Take You Back to Church." We'll give you a snippet after. But on Spotify, you can find Mitaki Lahi Niue if you're from Niue Island, Niue Whekai, Oi Oi Oi, Mai Hopo, or Island of Niue. So you can check that out on Spotify at Church Boya or the Church Boys.
The duo are here for a fundraising concert event organized by the NGO group Oma Tafua that will be held this evening at the Commercial Center. A 3-day youth workshop was also facilitated by them this week at the Aliutu Hall.
This time round we had an invitation from a non-profit organization called Oma Tafua. So this is spearheaded by our relative, our beautiful cousin, Fia Rix. And the reason why we're here is to help promote and awareness to heritage sites here in Niue, linking, I guess, our heritage back from New Zealand here to Niue. So obviously she does a lot of things for the work that she does, but one of them is making sure that the invasive species are eradicated here in Niue, the weeds that don't, I guess, strangle and, I guess, eradicate the beautiful nature and lush greenery that Niue has to offer here. We're also here to run a couple of youth programs. The youth programs run from Monday through to Wednesday this week, and there is a official concert, a fundraising concert based on the Commercial Centre this Thursday.
Even though both artists have lived in New Zealand most of their lives, coming home and reconnecting to their roots and spending time with family is always an amazing feeling. For Carl, it's his second visit back, and for Vinny, his first, accompanied by his mom and wife on this trip.
It was amazing. It was awesome to perform over at the Hikutavaki Village Show Day. It was an emotional experience for myself. This is my first time on the island. And my grandfather, Nisi Hipa Nutama, he's from Hikutavaki, so I was able to see my relatives there, connect back to them, and just to meet them. It's just been amazing here. We got to perform there. The premier was there as well, and just a lot of important people as well. And yeah, it was great to perform our music, our Niuean music here in Niue.
Being in New Zealand for so long and then coming back and putting your feet on Niue soil really does allow you to have connection to the land, and also the reason why your family were here in the first place and the decision they made to go back to New Zealand. So it was just great to be a part of that event yesterday. It was so beautiful.
Their advice to young people wishing to pursue a career in music: find out your passion and surround yourself with supportive people.
One of the key things that we share in youth work is the 3 C's of life: choice, chance, change. You need to make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. So these are some of the things that we encourage young people to do, just to step out in faith, just to give it a try. And if it's not for you, hey, that's okay, just go to plan B. But you always got to try something that you're passionate about, and always hang around people that will give you the motivation and also the platform to do so.
Mersa Takala, BCN News.
That's our show for tonight. We leave you now with these cute pics of Niue's little stars at Aonga o Whanga Tolo Pulu, who held their first ever Easter Parade Day. Their funky hats were made by their parents and teachers. They hope to make the parade an annual event. A special whakarowhātu to our viewers from across the region and to our partners at Pacifica TV. I'm Moana Makapiluli. Monua.